Nyosha njia zako. Usijione wewe mwenyewe kuwa mwenye hekima. Mche Mwenyezi Mungu na kujiepusha na uovu. Methali 3:5-7. Kumbe uovu huwajia wasiojiepusha na huo uovu. Tazama, unahitaji kufanya moja tu bila gharama.
Kupata mtumaini Mungu, bonyeza *811 *815#.
Saturday, 11th March 2023. It is. Good afternoon. This is the great KBC and this is Lunchtime News. Just in time for comprehensive bulletin right here. We have the headlines shaping up the news in the country and beyond. My name is Njue. Lucy Maura is my colleague who will be handling the sign language interpretation. Now straight to the news. Remember, we are also live from the broadcasting house and also on all our social media spaces. We begin our news coverage from Tana River County, where ranch owners will soon have a reason to smile after the Principal Secretary, State Department of Lands and Physical Planning, Nixon Korir, reiterated their plans to conduct public participation to identify genuine owners. The exercise will culminate in the issuance of title deeds to genuine owners to replace the allotment letter holders they have held for decades.
Lack of title deeds among landowners in the coast region has for decades been cited as a historical injustice. In Tana River County, several ranch owners do not have title deeds.
Kando Tana River na karibu watu wote hawana title deeds. Hata kuna watu ambao kwamba wamepewa mashamba sehemu za kurawa, lakini wana letters of allotment peke yake, title deeds hawana mpaka sasa. Kwa hivyo ni watu wengi ambao kwamba tunaishi, tumepewa mahali ya kukaa, lakini hata tumejenga permanent houses, lakini hatuna title deeds.
It is against this backdrop that the Principal Secretary for Lands and Physical Planning, Nixon Korir, convened a meeting with the ranch owners and the Parliamentary Committee on Lands to address the ranchers' plight.
We will get to the details that they have provided with us, and we have agreed that we will organize a meeting together with the leadership of the Tana River so that we can go to Tana River and do a public participation in terms of getting to understand all the issues wholesomely so that we can be able to deal with it.
The Ministry of Lands is laying the infrastructure to digitize land records across the country.
We've had challenges before in Nairobi, which we are sorting now. We plan to roll out digitization in Murang'a and quickly come to Mombasa and various parts of the counties that are ready. We are laying the infrastructure in terms of networking the offices, ensuring that we organize our files ready for scanning and setting up other necessary infrastructure for the process of digitization to commence.
Lake Victoria South Waterworks Development Agency has rolled out a plan to scale up water and sanitation connectivity within its jurisdiction from the current average of 60% to at least 80% by the year 2027. The agency says it is also working with county governments to build the capacity of water and sanitation providers.
Lake Victoria South Waterworks Development Agency says it is working with various development partners, among them European Development Agency, to scale up water and sanitation connectivity in the 8 counties within its jurisdiction.
It is a challenge, but it's a challenge that we're able to surmount, especially when we get support from our stakeholders. We should be able to improve on our sanitation coverage. And this is very, very important because it resonates with one of the other strategic plans on environmental sustainability.
The second thing that that we are doing, we are moving from energy from the grid, and we are now using solar. We are promoting solar so that we are climate sensitive, we are green in our efforts, but we are also ensuring that the cost of energy makes it possible for water to reach as many people as possible, because water is a right.
The agency says it is working in tandem with the county governments to empower water and sanitation providers within the counties of Kisumu, Siaya, Migori, Nyamira, Homa Bay, Kericho, Bomet and Kisii to increase water supply to the locals.
We are very, very strategic, and I'll start from where we are today here in Kisumu. We have a project that we've just started in December, and basically is to improve on sewerage connections, which is actually ongoing. We're at 10% now. Moving to the other counties, we've designed another, we've just signed the financing agreement sometimes in November in Litain, in Kericho, which is basically a wastewater facility that will be able to address wastewater.
According to the agency, water and sanitation connectivity within the said counties stands at an average of 60% and 25% respectively.
And still on water, 5 more people have been arrested in the ongoing crackdown on illegal water connections in Nairobi's county's Kibera area. The government, through the Ministry of Water, has also successfully disconnected over 500 illegal connections that had cut off 5,000 households from a regular supply of the scarce commodity.
The Water Police Unit has turned up the heat on those dealing in illegal water connections. A mop-up in Kibera saw the arrest of 5 people and the disconnection of 500 illegal installations in the slum.
The penalties go up to 100,000 Kenya shillings if you are found to have disconnected water illegally or you have destroyed the water infrastructure. And also individuals who are selling water in Nairobi, they need to tell us where they are getting that water.
Water and Sanitation Principal Secretary Paul Rono says cartels are driving up illegal water connections at the expense of thousands of households.
Let us also make sure that we cooperate. Whenever you see somebody who is disconnecting water illegally or destroying the water infrastructure, please report to the toll-free line which we have given.
The operation, which has been running for days, has however been criticized by a section of Kenyans who have argued that the government has been unable to ensure everyone is promptly connected to the utility upon request. Some quarters have argued that bureaucracy has made it difficult for those living in informal settlements to be supplied with clean running water. But the government insists that consumers must follow all laid down procedures, and those found benefiting from illegal water connections will be cut off and prosecuted.
Now to the drought situation in the country. The pastoral communities living in the northeastern region have been challenged to embrace crop farming as an alternative source of livelihood as the region continues to grapple with the adverse effects of climate change. Water and Sanitation Principal Secretary Dr. Paul Rono says the government is working to supply the region with adequate water, and it would be prudent for locals to think beyond livestock keeping as means of wealth and survival.
Water, Sanitation and Irrigation Principal Secretary Dr. Paul Rono visited several irrigation farms and commissioned boreholes in Habaswein and Wajir County, where he said the construction of dams and irrigation is a step in the right direction in making the country food secure.
There is need to really shift our minds and our way of doing agricultural produce from the rain-fed agriculture, and then we move to irrigation.
All the PS was accompanied by a host of area leaders who lauded the move by some residents to take up farming as an alternative economic practice.
So it is us, Wajir County people, to wake up from the sleep, to work hard, to feed ourselves and feed the rest of Kenya.
I want to urge my able PS to look at the people, the farmers here, to give them more boreholes so that they can grow enough food to sustain the area people, and also they can sell.
Also, more than 1,000 households in Lafe constituency, Mandera County, is set to benefit from food distribution exercise courtesy of the National Steering Committee on Drought and the Kenya Red Cross Society.
We are now in the alarm stage of the drought. In fact, we are drifting into emergency. Sasa wakati huu, anytime now itakuwa ni emergency, so hali ni mbaya. Wananchi wanalia ukame, maji ya mamto yote yamekauka.
Watu walikuwa wanahitaji chakula. Shauri ukame imekuwa hai, katika Mandera County yote ama countrywide.
The unforgiving drought has pushed residents to the edge, with some opting to seek water in pastures far as Tana River. Yusufar reporting for Lunchtime News.
And still on climate change mitigation, a group of women from Nairobi's Kibera slum have joined the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, PACJA, to enhance their participation in climate change adaptation initiatives. This involves leveraging on technological advancements such as transformative agricultural practices and innovative skills that are suitable for the African setting.
Women and children are the most vulnerable to succumb to the effects of climate change, such as drought. It is for this reason that the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, in celebrating the International Women's Day, held an art exhibition to empower women on coping with climate change for a better future.
To make it worse, women are the most vulnerable. We find that women depend most on the ecosystems, we depend on forests, we depend on the water around us to survive. So if we don't speak as women, then we get more affected. Remember, women, we depend more on agriculture, we depend on energy, we depend on other sources of livelihoods.
Under the theme framing the future African women in the context of climate crisis, the women called for collective responsibility in mitigating the adverse effects of climate change.
Ndiye amekupatia ruhusa upande, wewe unataka unaona upande mahindi. Kwa sababu gani? Utaleta chakula kwa watoto. Ukiwa na mahindi pale ama na miogo ama na mtama, hautaenda kuchukua pesa. Badala ya kufanya biashara ukinunua hizi vitu, utakuwa na chakula. Sasa biashara utafanya italipa school fees. Na yeye anakuambia ulime miwa. Miwa utalima, utakubali na utachukua hiyo pesa.
That the welfare of the earth is our welfare. So when we take care of the earth will also take care of us.
Women were also encouraged to join merry-go-rounds, use environmentally friendly cooking jikos, maintain healthy diets, and most importantly, fight for their right to education.
Our promise for you is that we to see how we can forge ahead, work together. Change will start from Kibra here. Yes. And it will start from you. Yes. And
Arnold Feather for Lunchtime News.
Very well, it's about 11 minutes past the top of the hour. We are due for our first break, but before we do that, let me appreciate Omikalo Bubaka. You say you're locked in from Mombasa. Paul Singer, you say watching live from Tanzania. Lucas Momanyi watching live from Baraton University. You also have Eddie Preti, BWS, following news live from Chepta East. Not to mention Alex Savatia, nakupata kutoka Shamahoho, Vihiga County. You say matangazo mazuri. We taking a quick break, but remember, today being a Saturday, a lot of sporting action is coming up. All the latest details right here with me. Keep it Channel 1.
Unajua siku hizi wateja wanatulipa na simu sana. Hiyo si shida, hiyo ni poa sana by the way. Lakini sasa shida inatokea, wengine wetu wanachukua hizo namba za wateja, alafu wanaanza kugawana huku nje kama njugu. Bana, inatuharibia kazi.
In this digital era, it's normal to collect information for your client. But if you're collecting information for the client, it's important that you secure it and use it for the intended purpose.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na ofisi ya Data Protection Commissioner.
I was part of the team ilitumwa to take out Burhan. Nilikaa for 5 years, nika study the man. All I ask is you let me right my wrongs and give me an opportunity to bring Burhan down for good. Senior Sergeant Farah, aka Stingray. Opro Ibrahim, aka Mongoose. Opro Katana, aka Panther. PC Kibet, aka University. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We do this for honor.
Yeah.
Our loved ones, our family, and our country. 1, 2, 3.
imefika ile ifa kudeliver bidhaa kama kawa kuna maswali
singo no tamu yudo
kuchemsha bongo
sodawa.
Welcome back and thanks for keeping me company. Moving on, the 13 billion Pioneer Dam in Gatondo, North Kiambu County might not take off after landowners expected to cede their parcels for the project moved to court to stop the implementation of the project. In a petition seen by journalists John Mwangi Karaoke, James Moshai, Willie Gaidua, Patrick Karaoke and 485 others, affected landowners want the court to declare the process of implementing the construction of the Ndarugo 2 dam project unconstitutional.
According to the committee spearheading the resistance against the project, the government failed to engage them since the proposal for the construction of the dam at Mwimuto, Gathaite, Gatei, Wathati and Kanjukos village was made.
Hatutaki hii dam ianzwe kabla hatujahusishwa na wengine ambao wanahusika. Kwa maana hapa juu ukienda kuna watu na hawajaambiwa na hawajaelewa. Haya, kwa ile public participation hatujafanya.
We have moved to court because of the much persuasion to the government to deliberate on this matter. The government has been adamant and it has refused to talk to the stakeholders. It has gone beyond and gazetted pieces of land where they intend to construct the dam without the consent, neither public participation.
The landowners, through their representatives, insist that this is one among many other plans they have organized to fight the project.
Kuna jambo moja inatuudhi sana, inahusu serikali sababu wamekosa kutusikiza. Kutoka wakati walianza mambo ya hii kujenga hii Ndarugo 2 dam, ilikuwa mwaka jana ndio tulianzana, na yale yote tumekuwa tukiwaambia hawashughulikii hiyo maneno. Kwa hivyo sasa tunaona sasa twende kotini, ndio koti iamue, ndio tuone ni akina nani hawafuati sheria.
You cannot say that you want more and more food to be produced by the farmers and you are still destroying the same farms that you expect that food to come from.
Ndarugo 2 dam is among the 100 mega dams that President Ruto's administration is riding on to mitigate the raging drought occasioned by the shortage of rain in the country. For Lunchtime News, I'm Stephen Wanyonyi.
To Makueni County now, where the government is working with other non-state actors to harness solar energy that will be used to pump water and power numerous projects in the region. Governor Mutula Kilonzo Jr. says the plan is to position the county strongly in efforts to mitigate the devastating impact of climate change. The World Resources Institute, which is spearheading the program, says the power generation is an important tool in tackling post-harvest losses and it has the potential to enhance agricultural output.
Security we have today, half of it is about cost of production on storage of food, post-harvest losses, because while you can dry maize out there in Rift Valley, our stores here can't. We cannot, for purposes of moisture content. So if you're going to be food secure, we need a full component of our energy plan and to arrest post-harvest losses.
You can think about solar for irrigation, you can think about solar mini-grids for housing, you can think about cold storage that is powered by renewable energy, and in this case particularly solar. And we know that Makueni County, being a very agricultural focused county, would definitely benefit from these resources.
There is an Energy Act. Of course, the 2010 Constitution came up with the devolved governments, and there is a constitutional mandate for the counties to develop their energy plans. But this came more clear when the Energy Act was developed. And this required that every county to develop their energy plan.
And in other news, baby Brighton Sagini, the 3-year-old boy whose eyes were gouged out last December, told a KBC court that it was his grandmother who removed his eyes. Baby Sagini, while testifying in camera before senior KBC resident magistrate Christine Onweno, said his grandmother, while Nyakerario, hit him on the head before gouging out his eyes.
During the hearing at a KBC court, the baby, who is under state protection together with his sister, said that his grandmother gouged out his eyes using her hands and later dumped him at a maize plantation at their home in Ikuruma village, Marani sub-county. The sister Chantel Kimunto narrated to the court how the incident occurred on December 13th, 2022. She said on the fateful day they had gone to the river to fetch water as usual, but Sagini did not turn up since he lost his water jerrycan. She said that the brother would later be found dumped in a maize plantation the following day after missing for hours. It is then that the police rushed him to the KBC Eye Hospital, where doctors determined that his sight was permanently damaged. Sagini's caregiver, Josephine Karimi, who testified on behalf of Sagini and his elder sister Kimunto, claimed as a social worker her interaction with the two minors indicated they lived in a harsh environment. She said the two stayed with their paternal grandmother after their mother separated with the father. Initially, the suspects had pleaded not guilty to a charge of attempted murder before it was amended to causing grievous bodily harm to a minor.
We proceed for hearing on the 17th of March with the evidence of the investigating officer and the arresting officer. And on 24th of March, we proceed to the scene for evidence of the last witness.
Beatrice Gatonyangetich, Lunchtime News.
We're definitely keeping a keen eye on how that case unfolds. Elsewhere, about 1,000 households in Lafay constituency in Mandera County have benefited from a donation of relief food to cushion them from drought. And Laikipia East MP Mwangi Njue is calling for boundaries review to address inequalities in revenue allocation among counties and constituencies. Details of this and more in our county news roundup.
The ongoing drought has rendered over 45,000 people in Lafay constituency in Mandera County in dire need of food. It is for this reason that the National Drought Management Authority in Mandera, led by its director Hussein Idoro, and the Kenya Red Cross distributed an assortment of relief food to 7,000 households in the constituency.
So tuko hapa kuona kuweza kufanya wananchi at least wapate chakula ya kuweza kwenda for some days.
In Nairobi's Dandora estate, the residents were a happy lot today after the Kenya Children's Fund organization donated solar lantern lights for every homestead to cushion children studying at night from frequent power outage.
Na CEO tumefurahia kwa kweli, umetuonesha kweli tutakuwa mwangaza na sisi tunasimama kama hivyo. Last year haikuwa hivyo, sikuwa na mwanafunzi hapa but haikuwa hivyo. It was very hard, tulikuwa tunafika vita hapa juu. But now tunashukuru na tunamsifu Bwana.
Elsewhere, Makueni County government has today commissioned the 6th cohort of internship program where 100 youth will acquire practical skills in information and communication technology.
This program empowers the youth to be able to start off in nurturing their skills in their different areas of specialization.
The boundaries review debate was kept alive by Laikipia East Member of Parliament Mwangi Njue, citing it as a solution to the revenue allocation inequalities among counties and constituencies.
We must carry out the limitation to ensure there is equality of vote across the country.
Finally, a section of primary school heads in Kilifi County are seeking help from the government and stakeholders to improve infrastructure in their schools that are grappling with inadequate classrooms and pit latrines.
Nataka niombe kwamba CDF iangazie hii sehemu. Pesa ya CDF ikiwezekane iweze kuongezwa ili tuweze kuona kwamba sisi tuna hizi sehemu ambazo kwamba zina uteti kama za afya ziweze kuangaliwa vizuri.
For Lunchtime News, Shakaina Maoga.
Migori County Governor Ochilo Ayako is urging the National Treasury to release funds owed to counties to allow for proper planning and development. Governor Ayako says services are hurting in the counties and the intermittent disbursement of the shareable revenue is doing little to provide comfort to those who solely rely on counties for their livelihood.
As we speak today, we have not received our allocation for November, December, January, February. Yet we have to dole out development to our people. So that is a constraint that if our national government believes in devolution as a success story, must observe the law that requires they release funds on a timely basis.
From Migori to Nakuru County, where at least 2,000 crop farmers from the county have benefited and who have, I beg your pardon, at least 2,000 crop farmers from Nakuru County who are affected by drought last year have benefited from crop insurance compensation payout from the Apollo Agriculture Group in partnership with APA Insurance and Pula Advisors. The farmers were challenged to cultivate drought-resistant crops that will withstand harsh climatic conditions and eventually contribute to food security. Beneficiaries lauded the program as a solution to crop failure due to drought and urged for expansion of the initiative to cover more farmers.
Tumeweza kuwafidia zaidi ya shilingi milioni 5.9 ambao kwa zaidi ya wakulima 2,000 katika kaunti nzima ya Nakuru, sana sana katika maeneo ya Bahati, Solai, Soin, Kongasis na maeneo mengine mengi ambayo yameweza kuathirika na kiangazi.
We've seen benefits to the farmer because of the adverse climatic conditions. Insurance is able to compensate them and reinstate them to a position they were before. In that way, we've been able to protect even the farmers' livelihood because they really depend on these crops to carry out their basic needs.
These farmers undergo very big losses, and some even give up on farming altogether. Now that the insurance is coming in to cover the farmers for their crop, most of the farmers will go back into farming.
Tumefurahi ya kwamba bila walituahidi ya kwamba watatufidia. Tumeona leo ndio tumeamini ya kwamba kweli hawao kuwa wanadanganya, na kiangazi kweli kimetuathiri, na ningeomba hata serikali iweze kuingilia itusaidie, maana hatuna maji.
Saidie mvua inyeshe kwa sababu mashamba yetu hakuna kitu tulivuna. Kwa nimelima eka 3 na hakuna kitu nilivuna.
It's time for sport, and Angolan striker Mbala Nzola scored an 87th-minute goal as Spezia beat Inter Milan 2-1 in a Serie A match played at the Alberto Pico La Prezia, Italy. Meanwhile, 6 English Premier League matches are on the card today, with Liverpool and Manchester City among the teams in action. Take a look.
He can see up Maldini!
Serie A giants Inter Milan suffered their 8th league loss of the season after they were beaten 2-1 by 17th placed Spezia.
Lukaku to equalise. Inter a level. Nzola to give them back the lead.
Meanwhile, league leaders Napoli could go 18 points above Inter Milan if they beat Atalanta today. In England, 6 matches are scheduled to be played today. Bournemouth will host Liverpool. Everton will welcome Brentford. Leeds United will face Brighton. Leicester City will play Chelsea. Tottenham Hotspur will entertain Nottingham Forest, while Crystal Palace will host Manchester City in the day's late kickoff. In Spain, Real Madrid will be aiming to reduce Barcelona's lead to 6 points when they host Espanyol.
In athletics, Kenya bagged 20 medals, 14 gold and 6 silver medals yesterday in the East and Central Africa Athletics Under-18 and Under-20 Championships, which ends today at the Benjamin William Mkapa Stadium, Dar es Salaam. Under-20 team captain Isaac Omura and his deputy Judy Kemunto won the men's 100 meters and women's 400 meters races respectively. Sebastian Kakaya won the men's 400 meters while Brian Kiptum and Wesley Kibet swept the first two positions in 800 meters race. Just as Mwasia emerged victorious in men's 5,000 meters while Irene Jep Kemboi bagged gold in women's javelin as Charles Kipngetich settled for silver in men's long jump. Finally, Nagoya Marathon champion Ruth Chepngetich says she is targeting to lower her course record when she returns to the Japanese city to defend her title. The 2019 world champion smashed the course record last year by more than 3 minutes, clocking 2 hours, 17 minutes and 18 seconds. It was just 10 seconds shy of her personal best time at the time, but she went on to win the Chicago Marathon later in the year in 2 hours, 14 minutes and 18 seconds. The second fastest performance in history and just 14 seconds adrift of the world record. But she will be kept on her toes by compatriot Nancy Jelagat, who set a personal best time of 2 hours, 19 minutes and 31 seconds in the 2021 Valencia Marathon. Nagoya Women's Marathon offers the world highest first prize of 32 million shillings. For the first time in 4 years, the race will have a mass field as the Japanese government finally lifted its COVID-related border restrictions last year. That's all the time we had for KBC Lunchtime News this Saturday afternoon. Wishing you a very relaxing weekend. My name is Njue. Lucy Maura has been my colleague on the sign language interpretation. And both of us, we wish you a wonderful weekend. Of course, we have more news in our subsequent bulletin at 7 and also at 9. But you can check this out and others on our social media platform. Not forgetting our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke. Have a good one.